Hi guys, and welcome to a very reckless, very last minute reading vlog. So let's just directly get into it because today's gonna be crazy. I have to finish crocheting a scarf in less than a week. We're gonna be seeing how many books I can get off my TBR listening to while I do that. So let's just directly get into it because there's a lot going on right now, and let's just start. If you've been keeping up with the channel over the past month or so, I have been crocheting this scarf. It's all folded up, so ignore that, for my mother's birthday. But here's the thing, her birthday's in a week and it's not done yet. My goal is to kind of finish this whole skein out, crocheting all of it into this, and then it'll be done. But also her birthday's in a week and I need to finish this on an urgent emergency basis because nothing's really done yet. And so in this video, I'm kind of trying to be seeing how many vacation TBR books I can get off my TBR as I listen to them while crocheting. So it's kind of like a reading and crafting vlog because I've got a couple already I've done while making this scarf, but today is going to be the finale while we finally finish this out and kind of see how many books it takes to finish this out. So I have a few picked out already. I'm going to be listening to all of these as audiobooks, but I've got the physicals here anyway, so I can show them to you as we talk. If I need more, I obviously have more on my TBR kept aside in the cupboard, so I'll go grab them once we get to them. But I'll go pick out one of my first books from these and I'll start with it right now hopefully, and rush through it. So see you guys hopefully in a bit with the first update for this video. But it's gonna be very hush and rush because it's a surprise for her birthday. It's not even complete yet. I'm panicking and freaking out, so what's better to do than panicking and freaking out with you guys on camera as we try to finish this off and see how many books I can get done while I kind of crochet a scarf. Let's just start. I'll see you guys hopefully in a bit with my first update when I've started the first book out or whatever. And yeah, it's gonna be crazy, it's gonna be fun. Let's just directly get into it. Hi guys, so it's been a few hours since my last update to you. It's obviously much later right now. It's dark outside, it's pitch black, and it's been storming. So if you can hear anything in the background, it's probably that. Please ignore because I can't really help it. But my hair has gone up. I'm completely in work mode. Business has been activated. I'm in for it, and I've locked in so hard because for the last few hours of the evening, all I've done is literally crochet and listen to my book. I've been having a good time, don't get me wrong, but when you craft a lot, you kind of don't really see the progress you're making on your craft, and that's what really dulls you out, or at least that's what makes me feel that way. And I start to hate what I'm doing, especially because I'm doing it on a deadline, not on my own free pace or whatever. So I'm not having the greatest of times, but also the book, listening to it, is making it better. So I have a couple updates to give you on all of that. Firstly, we have my scarf. This is the progress I've made so far. You can't really see how much it is on camera because all of it doesn't fit into frame kind of, but this is how it's going. And if anyone crochets, for me, when I look at my wool ball or whatever, my yarn, I can actually tell with how much that's left that how long it's going to take me. The problem with the skein is, because this is a skein I believe, I can't really tell how much is in it. So if this was a cake, I would have been actively able to guess how much longer this video would last. I clearly cannot at this point because it doesn't look like a lot, but once you start unwinding it, it's literally wrapped up so tight you don't even realize how much is in it. So I'm still gonna keep going at it despite not knowing how much longer it's going to take because it's already taking so long. And now on the long aspect, I've managed to listen to halfway of our book. That's literally how long it's taken because I have started my third reread. This is my third time reading The Paradise Problem by Christina, and I'm so happy to be here, so let's talk about it. For context, before anything, I'm actually listening to the audiobook as I crochet and I have it on 2x speed. If anyone's wondering why it's not my usual 3x, it's because I want to savor every second of my reread, because every time I schedule and plan one of the rereads for this book specifically, it's one of my most favorite rom-coms ever. I actually want to enjoy every second of it and soak it up, and I don't want it to be over fast because I don't know when I'll reread next. So even though I'm planning when I'm going to reread next, it won't be for a while now, which is why I want to take my time, and it's on 2x. But regardless, it's still taking long to crochet because I hit halfway just now. We're not done with the book, but also we're not nearly done or close enough to being done with this, so clearly it's taking time. But now more about the book, because here my job is to literally convince all of my audience to go ahead and read this because this is the best book in existence and we need to be talking about this more often. If you watched one of the earlier rom-com movies from the 2000s, it's literally that vibe because it follows this girl Anna Green. She's the stereotype of a broke struggling artist who's working too many jobs, whose life is in the dumps, who has reached rock bottom, but she's still gonna keep going because she has bills to pay and odd things to do because her painting isn't supporting her, but she's passionate enough to keep continuing by night. On the other hand, we have Liam Weston. He's kind of like the son of the CEO of this supermarket chain or whatever, so one of the biggest grocers in the US. He stands to inherit all of that, so he's like a really rich billionaire kind of guy or whatever. And now for the storyline itself about the two of them used to be married 5 years ago for student housing, because back in the day they weren't able to get housing around college time. The only one that was available was housing for married people or whatever, which in that sense they decided, okay, let's just grab it by fake marrying each other so they get the housing for cheaper. So essentially 5 years ago they were married, they got that housing for cheaper. It was just like a no strings attachment. The day he moved out of the house is where the prologue starts, wherein essentially, you know, they are separating now, they divorced or whatever, went their separate ways after getting their housing. All is done, all is farewell, because they got their money's worth, everything was cheap, and now they don't have to see each other again. Except now, 5 years later in present timeline, Anna is again struggling with her whole broke artist aesthetic or whatever, and one day when she's in the deepest of the trenches or whatever, she's just been fired from a job, she's just at home not having the best day ever, he actually walks up to her doorstep and he comes up with this offer that she cannot really resist, and suddenly they're thrown back in each other's lives. The thing he offers her, or the thing that actually comes up that brings them together, is the fact that his family still believes the two of them are married, and here's where something he didn't reveal from the get-go comes into play. So back when they married 5 years ago, their marriage kind of triggered this inheritance of his that says that if he wants his complete inheritance, $100 million, he needs to be married for 5 years exact, and then he stands to inherit all of it. So now if he forfeits with her, he won't get any of it, which is why he comes up to her and he tells her, okay, we're going to be staying married for a couple more months. They never actually divorced, just so he can get that money. Except here's where the catch comes in, the whole reason why he's come back after 5 years to come back into her life and tell her all of this, because like I said, they were never really divorced, but also he didn't need to interact because nothing much was really going on. Now, however, he's back in the picture because his family is starting to suspect that their marriage isn't real, and if it's not real, he doesn't get that money. But also on the other hand, his younger sister is getting married, and they kind of expect him and his wife to kind of show up for the first time, meet the family or whatever, come to the wedding, and that's happening on a private island in Singapore. So it's like very wealthy, it's very opulent or whatever, and that's where the story goes from. She kind of agrees to accompany him. It's like a marriage of convenience sort of fake dating situation, wherein she's coming along with him pretending to be the perfect wife or whatever, just so they can play up into the act. When their 5 years get over, he gets his money, he'll pay her cut of it or whatever, and they go their separate ways again. Except this time around, because they have more prolonged contact with each other, considering the fake proximity or whatever in the marriage setting with the island, they're starting to fall for each other. So now it's a lot more, I guess, high stakes or whatever, because now feelings are getting involved, and it goes from there. I love every second of it. The whole reason why I'm rereading a book 3 times in the span of 1 year since its release is the fact that, listen, I'm obsessed with this book, like, completely, and you know, it's already 5 stars. I already know that, gave it 5 stars back when I read it a couple months ago in a different video. I'll have my original reads of it on screen, but yeah, so far so good. I'm having the best time with my reread. Again, it's always the books wherein there's some sort of wedding setting that hits so hard, because everything about this is going in its favor. It's perfect to me. It has one of my favorite tropes ever, marriage of convenience, the whole wedding aspect, like I said, and also it's written by Christina, who are my favorite authors. I think they come in like top 5 or so easily, which is why everything is in its favor. The gods have aligned for this reread. I'm having the best time, and even though this is like whole summery summer vacation vibes, even though I'm on vacation right now, it doesn't really match up with the aesthetic outside because it's been storming. Like I said, it's not exactly the perfect summer aesthetic of the book. I still don't care. I'm still having a great time. So even though it doesn't match up, I still get to listen to my favorite book ever, literally curl up with the scarf and crochet and get cozy. I'm having such a good time, so I'm gonna go keep doing it. Gonna lock in for the next, I think, 3 odd hours listening to it sped up that are left, and I'll continue and give you my thoughts at the end. But so far, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this will probably be one of my favorite rom-coms ever because I love it so much. There's truly nothing wrong with it. I don't get the ick with anything, and I love it. So I'm gonna go get back at it. There's so much that's amazing about it. If you want to read it, please pick it up. Honestly, pick it up for the side characters too, because it's hilarious. Anna herself, she's so funny, and the whole thing with Anna and Liam is so heartwarming, wholesome, and sweet that I am obsessed with every second. Anna, Liam, Blair, and Jake, they're literally my favorite characters ever, and goddamn, I love every second. So I'm gonna go get back to it, watch Anna not be the perfect wife they envisioned for Liam, but at the same time they're also perfect for each other, because in my head they're soulmates and I love their connection. I love it so much. I'm having such a great time with every second. So I'm gonna go get back to it. See you guys hopefully in a bit once I'm done with this and we have another book picked out to continue with this, because it's taking so long. I'm tired, but here we are. See you guys in a bit. Bye. Hi guys, so it's been a couple days since my last update to you and this vlog, mainly because I have been busy, crocheting on and off, listening to my book, but then also there are times wherein I'm getting sick of it, simply because when you're looking at a craft project too long, you kind of get bored and you kind of start thinking there's something wrong with it. That's basically me right now, and so because of that I'm not really able to lock in and completely get it done. However, I am done listening to the book by now. I finished later in the night yesterday, and like I said, it has been a couple days. It has lasted longer than I thought it would, but we're still going with the project. So far I have this much complete on the scarf. Again, you can't really tell how much, but it's definitely growing and it's good. There isn't a lot left on this either, so I have high hopes that the current book we've picked up, the new one, that should be it. But regardless, it's time to come speak about my final thoughts on the Paradise Problem and what book I picked up next, because there haven't been many updates from me for this video, unfortunately, and so I have to make up for that now. Okay, so the Paradise Problem, I finished listening to this book out last night. However, like I said, I have been holding off until later today to come speak to you in the vlog. I'm so happy I reread this. I feel like I just reread this and it keeps getting better every single time. When you're rereading a book you really love, it hits harder, and this one hit harder. Like, it hits harder every single time I reread. This is my third time doing so, and as a picky reader who doesn't reread very often, this is a great sign that I really like the book, and it's really resonated with me. I don't really know what more to say beyond that, because I feel like all of my thoughts are captured in the previous videos where I've reread this or read it for the first time, and I have like an updated Goodreads review from last night, so I'll have that on screen for you. But basically, I believe in Liam and Anna all the way through. They're the perfect couple to me. This is the perfect rom-com to me. In my review I said this book kind of feels like every single Taylor Swift love song was written for the two of them, and it's perfect if you want to read it like honestly as a hopeless romantic, because this actually hits every single, I guess, hyperfixation you could have while you're reading it. I feel like everything about it, the tropes in it, the authors, they are in my top 5 easily, so I feel like this just hit the way it had to, and it scratched that itch I was really in the need of. So I'm happy I read it. I'm happy I had a great time doing so. The rom-com in this is very well balanced in the sense that there's like an emotional deep romance, but the comedy is also really good because Anna is hilarious. The side characters, they literally carry the book because it's so funny. And then not just that, we have like family dynamics and family drama and kind of scandals going on, which are keeping you interested in the storyline, but also adding depth in the sense that they're not exactly two-dimensional characters like other rom-coms wherein it just feels like, oh, they look at each other, they fall in love, that's it. Because this does have, I guess, like a deeper, more going beyond the surface level kind of story, and I really enjoyed that. I will say though, the ending of it, even though I've reread this like 3 times over, it's not as dramatic as I would have expected, but at the same time I feel like it's very realistic and it was good enough catering to the book and the way it should be done in the moment. So I'm happy, it was done the way it was, and let's be so real, I don't even care. 5 stars. I feel like every time I reread, I just realize how much more I love it. A couple more rereads and this will probably be 6 stars, one of my favorite books ever. It already is, but to finalize for now, it's 5 stars, and that's really good because, again, like a picky reader like me, someone who's so stingy with giving out stars, me giving this 5 stars every time, not able to pick out a single thing to nitpick and cry over. This is kind of perfect. It hits every mark and I'm obsessed with it. Honestly, I'm thinking of making it like a tradition wherein I reread this every time I come here on vacation. So see you same time next year when I'm doing my reread of this and we can speak about it then. But for now, I'm done with this. Now, as for the vacation TBR that I kind of wanted to get through as I was going along with the scarf, since we still have some of that skein, whatever thing left to continue, making out, we still have to listen to something. And because it isn't a lot, I'm guessing we have only like 1 book worth of listening to do with how much is left. So I have to be really smart with my choice here, which is why these are the 3 options we have. We have Second John Summer by Morgan Matson. I never actually read this on camera, but this was my first 5-star read from last year, so it would be perfect to kind of read right now because I never managed to give my thoughts and reactions to it on camera because, like I said, the first time I read it, it was off camera. So this would be perfect, but also it's kind of thick and I don't know if it's feasible to get through as we crochet because there's quite a bit to it and it gets really sad. So I don't know if I'm in the mood to cry right now because the first time I bawled my eyes out like a baby. So this was one of the options, but then I decided not not to go with it in the end. So yeah. Next up, I had beach read as an option. I nearly picked this. This was so close. This was like one of the top contenders literally ever, because this is like my favorite book I've ever read as someone who's read over 600 books. Because listen, this book is everything to me. There's like a deck where January and Augustus, the main characters in this, meet to kind of write because they're authors. So they write together on their deck every day and they look over at each other or whatever. And the deck from the story really reminds me of the deck they have out here in this house. So for some reason, every time I sit on that deck watching the sunrise, reading on my Kindle or whatever, every single time this urge strikes me wherein I want to reread this while I'm here so bad, just so I can read about that deck again. And you know I'm down bad for a book when I want to read about characters literally just sitting out on the deck and experience that on the deck here. But I decided not to pick this up because I already reread this a couple months ago, and I will reread it, do not get me wrong. I am still on vacation and I am going to make it a different vlog, but just not specifically for this one, because I feel like we already read a romance book, the previous one, and while this isn't really romance, it's like women's fiction or whatever, I decided let's just pick up like a variety of different options or whatever, so it's interesting enough for all of you guys watching in case you aren't like primarily romance readers like me. So I figured I'd go with Bad Men, which is kind of like a mystery thriller-esque book, but there's also like a romance subplot kind of appealing to you guys as well as to me, and you know, giving the hopeless romantic in me something to scream about, even though the romance in this is a little messed up. Basically, this book follows Safi. She's like this really rich socialite. Everyone loves her and everyone really likes the fact that she just contributes to society. So everyone thinks she's just like a dumb pretty woman because she has like a lot of money. She came into like a huge inheritance or whatever, and she doesn't really know how to handle it according to society's POV. She's just like donating and being a nice person or whatever, so no one really thinks much of her. Except the thing with Safi is she's got this one hobby that no one really knows about, because she is obsessed with killing bad men. So the whole concept of this is basically that she kind of goes by undetected. She's kind of deceiving people in plain sight, wherein she comes across as this really sweet, friendly, innocent person, but then she's actually killing bad men off. So she has this thing wherein any bad guy she meets, any guy that is, you know, done wrong to society, kind of wronged her personally, she's gonna have a vendetta against him no matter how big or small it is, and she's gonna kill him. That's basically it. So I support women's wrongs and women's rights, which is why I wanted to go ahead and give this a reread, because I read this for the first time exactly a year ago when I was here again for my 24-hour readathon video. I think I'll have it on screen so you guys can watch. And you know, this was a really fun time reading the first time around, which is why I figured I want to read this again, even though I gave it 4 stars in that video, because I've been thinking of this, not even joking, non-stop since I finished it. Every single day I'm thinking of these characters all the time, which is why reread had to happen. But basically, continuing on that tangent, she's kind of killing off bad men, and then now in the background something happens recently that she should not or wouldn't have seen coming. She kind of starts falling for this guy. He's called Jonathan, and he is kind of like the main host of this like true crime podcast. So he solves cold cases, and she's a serial killer and she's falling for him, except one day it turns out he's convicted of maybe killing someone off. So now she's falling for someone who's probably convicted to be a bad man, who's, you know, killing people off, but also he's kind of trying to uncover serial killer. So there's a lot going on there, and you know, she's trying to like have a meet cute happen between the two of them, kind of make him fall for her, but at the same time clear his name because she thinks he's not responsible. But then there's this whole overlay drama of like the mystery happening in the background with who actually killed, what happened, you know, whatever he's being blamed for. And you know, the premise is very interesting, the book is very interesting. I loved every second of it the first time around. And listen to me, if there's one thing you need to know about me, especially on this channel, if I read my mystery thriller books, my favorite kinds are the ones wherein our main character is some sort of serial killer and you kind of watch their perspective, because I find them so funny. And do not get me wrong, I truly support this woman because her cause behind this actually really makes sense when you actually go ahead and read this book. But it's so funny regardless, and you know, the humor and the, I guess, not really being conscious of what society would consider right and moral, even if, you know, what she's doing according to her is correct. I find that humor actually hilarious. It's kind of comedic, and so I'm reading this for the shits and giggles. I'm having such a good time doing so, and I'm actually listening to it on audio because the last time I read it, the first time around last year, the audio copy was actually kindly gifted to me, so I got the audio copy. This one has been physically purchased by me. All opinions are my own as always, but I just wanted to quickly give a shout out to RB Media for sending it my way. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go back to listening to my audiobook because even the first time I read it, for some reason that audiobook, maybe it's just the accent of the the narrator, whatever, I had such a good time around, and looking back on it now, I'm having an even better time. So knowing what I do about the ending of this book, especially on the crazy note that it ends off, I'm actually getting to look back on it from now, the beginning, and see how it connects in, and it's a good time. So I'm gonna go and get back to it. I'm having a great time with the audio, and so I'm gonna go now. I think it's like past 11 or something like that, which means I should probably go do my Duolingo right now. But right after I do that, I'm gonna lock in, continue listening to this one out, kind of work on our scarf here, and I'm hoping that if I am not being very delusional, I can finish this out in tonight, and just staying up or whatever. But we'll just have to see what ends up happening. And yeah, regardless, I'll see you guys tomorrow in the morning with hopefully a final update on the video that we've actually finished this, because this has been going for many months now. And then in the end, we can finally calculate how many books I've read over the span of how many ever months I've been working on this, and we can figure out how much it really takes to truly make and crochet a scarf. So see you guys hopefully in a bit with more updates on my book and on my scarf, and hopefully both will be done, even though I'm having a great time so far because things are really looking up. This was the reread I needed in the moment because it's hitting everything I wanted. It's giving me what my mood asked for, and not very far in, but again, I'm hoping, listening to it on 2x so I don't finish it off too fast, that it'll get by tonight maybe, and yeah, I should be done. So if that isn't delusional, I'll figure it out. I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow morning with more updates, and yeah, good night. I'm gonna go do my Duolingo now so I don't lose my streak, and bye. Hi guys, so it's now the next afternoon. I stayed up till past 4 yesterday, but I have some really great, incredible news. Some things happened that all my weight has been lifted off of my shoulders, and I'm not worrying now for my mom's birthday. I can sit and plan other things out because, drumroll please, I stayed up and I have finished the scarf. I know it's all folded up. I will give you b-roll because I don't want to open the whole thing out and show it. It looks ugly when I show it anyway. And I'm borderline concerned about the way it's turned out, but I think it's fine at the end of the day. I'll insert b-roll now. And yeah, we're done. Basically, the whole point of this video has been achieved. And so I can probably stop now, but here's my dilemma. I'm still listening to Bad Men. I have about this much complete, so I'm gonna say like 70% is done. I still have some. And in this video, I've only read this book and another book, and this one isn't even complete. So right now what I'm gonna try to do is essentially try to listen to the rest of this out and finish it up, even though we're done with the shawl, just so I can give you like my final updates on this, and then we can conclude the video so it isn't too short and scattered. But then also, while I'm doing this, I decided I just want to crochet something else as well. So off topic, I started this like random teddy bear. This is what the progress looks like right now. It's kind of questionable, so ignore that, but I'm gonna go work on it. I will probably finish in some time hopefully, and I'll come speak to you about it then. But so far, Bad Men updates. I'm so happy I picked this up for a reread because this was everything I wanted in the moment. It's hilarious. The comedy in this is top notch. Safi, she is so sarcastic. She just means things in this like blunt, point blank way, but people just think she's being like unserious about it, whereas she actually means what she's saying. And like there was this one part wherein I forgot this happened. She's comparing her sister's deadbeat ex-boyfriend to a human kidney stone impression, and I'm just gonna say it. Stuff like this, it really gets me. It was so unexpected in the moment. I'm having such a good time. I feel like even the romance is well balanced out because we have Jonathan on the other hand. He's already got like other things going on in his life, and as you're watching him kind of move out of that headspace and kind of get into this with her, I love the speed and the pacing of it. There was a really fun scene just now where they were pretending to be like undercover detectives or whatever, and she was being so funny, and I'm having the best time ever. The whole aspect of her being a serial killer and in the background doing her stuff, but also kind of helping him clear his name. Listen, I'm obsessed, I'm addicted. This could have been a rom-com, but it's really not. It's more comedy, serial killer, thriller vibes, and then there's like mystery, and then there's a mini subplot of romance. But I feel like stuff like this, genuinely, if you've got similar recommendations, comment them down below, because this might be my favorite type of book to read literally ever, maybe even more than fantasy, I'm realizing, because I'm obsessed, I'm addicted, I cannot stop. That's the whole reason why I was up till 4, because even though I've read this book before, I remembered certain like highlight scenes, I guess you could call them, in like bits and parts. So kind of refreshing my memory, going back through the whole thing, seeing all the events the way they take place from the very beginning and seeing how they connect. Like I read it the first time around, but but I don't remember majority of the details, and now getting the nitty-gritty, even especially after the perspective I get from having finished it and getting the last ending or whatever, going back and reading this now, I'm having the best time. So I'm gonna go continue doing that. I'm gonna go continue making this teddy that I'm making for my cousin, and I'll see you guys hopefully in a bit once this is done. But so far the goal of the video has essentially been achieved. I have finished the scarf. I'm just reading to kind of finish the book out because there is no other video I'll be speaking about, you know, specifically about this book in. So I'm gonna go do that. I'll see you guys hopefully soon once the teddy is done, and then we can actually completely tally up the number of books it took me to make the scarf, in case any of you guys are interested or whatever, because it's good to have some research and background knowledge going into stuff like this, and I'm gonna be that research for you. So I'm gonna go continue reading now. I'll be done in like maybe an hour or two, I think, because I'm listening to it sped up on 2x. I feel like if I was listening on 3, maybe I would have finished more books in this video, but also I kind of wanted to savor Paradise Problem and this one because they're such like genuine gems of books, and I want to have my time, you know, slowly taken as I read these and consume them. So I'm gonna go do that. I'll see you guys hopefully in a bit once this is done, and we can, you know, come give final updates or whatever. I'll show you my teddy bear that I'm making for my cousin as well, and yeah, until then, see you guys. It won't be very long, but yeah, regardless, see you. Bye. Hi guys, so it's now the next evening. I finished listening to our book, I think later in the evening or night time yesterday, but it was too late to come record, so here I am now. But before anything, again, ignore the change of background. I'm not in our room because my sister's sitting in there, and I don't want to record in front of her because I have social anxiety even in front of my little sister. So here we are in a different room to give you final updates on Bad Men, and then we can conclude the video because the whole purpose of this, I guess, mini series has been reached. I have finished the scarf out for my mom. It's done in time for her birthday. I can give it to her and, you know, actually enjoy watching her react to it or whatever, because now I don't have to worry about making it. It's already ready before deadline, and I feel great about the book now because I'm not in such a huge hurry like I was the past couple times. Bad Men, essentially this book, my reread of it hit so much harder because once I finished my first read of it, this book kind of ends off on like this cliffhanger open-ended situation where it makes you want to reevaluate the entire book. And so going in from that perspective, kind of, you know, seeing and listening to kind of what I know and going off of that, I feel like this was even better the second time around. I think I gave it like 4 stars my first time, but this now 4.5, easy 4.5, because I support women's rights, but I support women's wrongs more importantly, because here we are. I love this modern age and era, especially when we have books like this, because it was hilarious and everything. I love the whole subgenre of like mystery thriller books where our main character is a serial killer, because these books especially this one, she is so out of touch with reality because the way she talks, the points she raises are obviously correct, but then the way she, you know, comes across delivering them kind of add to the comic relief aspect of this book, and I found it humorous because of that. And so I had such a great time reading and listening. I had such a great time going along with it because whenever we have like a serial killer, their perspectives are always so fun to go along with, especially the way they are going about their things. And this was the perfect blend of like romance and mystery thriller and comic relief, because you were getting everything. You were getting a good old comedy, but also enough in both of the aspects, enough in romance that you're hooked, but also enough in a mystery thriller that if you like separated these books, you could make like a separate romance book, you could make like a separate mystery thriller, but then the best aspects of those genres came together to make this book, and so you're hooked from page 1. I feel like the second chapter itself, it was so fast paced or something like that, that I feel like even if you think about like maybe from the second chapter or something, I was not able to put this down even though I was rereading. And I feel like it's extremely fast paced in the sense that it's going pit pat. There's always some sort of like ending in the chapter or whatever that wants you questioning and kind of reading the next chapter, because they end on like mini cliffhangers, and kind of seeing the whole mystery pan out, seeing it all click into place, getting wrapped up with a nice neat little bow at the end was so fun, and I had such a great time reading. The balance of all aspects, like I said, was incredible, and truly the way the mystery went in this, I'm not even joking, even the second time around I was watching all the pieces click into place and wondering how the author who wrote this is actually not a robot or something, because this person is a human and they wrote this book. That's crazy. A human came up with something like this. Anyway, I'm obsessed with the concept. I had such a great time. I love rooting for Safi and John from the first page, but also Safi mostly because she's kind of the definition of anti-hero, but in the same sense she's doing it for the right cause, and so I loved going along with that. I love reading about a strong female main character because we don't usually get that, and so when I actually got this just now, ate up every single crumb of it, had such a great time. This was 4.5 stars upon reread now, and I'm happy I reread. Maybe I'll make it a tradition wherein every year now when I come here I reread this, because truly there's nothing like it. I have distinct memories of reading certain scenes, and now having gone back and read the whole thing, I know the full picture of it, and so all my bits and pieces have kind of made up that whole image. And looking back, it was a great time. Maybe at some point in the future this could have potential to become like 5 stars. If I keep thinking about it, I might upgrade it or whatever, but for now it's 4.5, and I'm happy I read it because listen, this was the best time ever. Thank you RB Media for my audio copy that I was actually listening to while I was crocheting, but then also this is physical and I bought it with my own money, so that just goes to say my opinions are my own, and I'm obsessed with this book, addicted obsessed, because if this was injected into me via IV drip, I would be so thankful. So here we are. Now the last half of that book, while I was listening, since we already finished the scarf off, I ended up making this kind of teddy bear out, but I find it ugly because it's like many different colors, because I didn't really have one specific color, enough of it. I carried like scraps and bunches of different colors, and so I figured this would look alright. No, this looks ugly as shit. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm definitely not giving it to my cousin because I don't want to give her something so ugly. I know she won't care, it probably won't bother her or anything, but it's bothering me right now. So maybe the next video I go sit down and record on vacation, we'll try making something else for her. But for now, this is what this turned out like. This is what half an audiobook listening to this can get you. But also, was it really worth it? Because it looks ugly to me. So I don't really know. Put your thoughts in the comments. But yeah, this is the teddy bear I made. Kind of went off of like a YouTube tutorial I found, but then I changed most of it by the end of it. So maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have just stuck to that. But here we are, not really satisfied with this. I'll go figure something else out for her. But you know, it's kind of stuck in this half wave situation, so yeah, I'm gonna deal with that. But now to tally up and actually figure out how many books I managed to listen to while making a scarf. In this video specifically, we managed to listen to 1.5 books, because the half of this one, the other half, I spent doing this. So if you want to make like a whole scarf and teddy bear, this can kind of add up to it. But also, because it was only half for the scarf, we're counting half for bad men, that's it. Earlier this year in the video I started the scarf, I'll have them on screen so you can like look at all the videos or whatever. That one specifically, I read 4 different books of 4 different genres in it, and then I think a couple weeks ago I ended up listening to my favorite genres, and in that video I managed to listen to 3 different books to kind of make that scarf at the same time. So that actually equates to 7 books, and then just now we heard like 1.5 book. So I'm gonna add all of it on screen right now because I'm really getting confused. I'm actually gonna have to look at all of it, and this is the final amount of books it takes to make the kind of scarf I showed you. And if you know, round it up or whatever, you can throw in like a mini teddy bear that looks borderline ugly as well. So here we are, we're finished making the scarf. Honestly, it feels so full circle, kind of finishing it out now that I can give it to my mom, and it feels great. So I'm happy this is done, but I think I'll still say it might take more than this certain amount of books, because I personally was listening to the last couple of books on 2x speed, not 3x. I feel like I could have finished more books in 3x. And not just that, off camera in the middle, after I finished like the very first video in the series or whatever, reading all genres and then crocheting, I did end up listening to random odd books, half an hour of this book and half an hour of that book, while I'd crochet every other night to kind of increase the length on my scarf, because back then I wasn't really sure if I was going to make this like a mini series like part 2 and part 3. But here we are, regardless, we finished it. This will take you at least over 10 books if you are listening on 3x and you are, you know, going on and off like I did, but only specifically for the ones I recorded on camera. I'll have my total, like I said, on screen, but then that's it. We'll have a scarf, and this is the amount of books it takes to kind of do that, and it's perfect. But yeah, now we've reached the end of this vlog. Hopefully you guys had a fun time coming along with me, however short it must have been, to kind of finish out making a scarf and kind of read a couple books off my TBR. I'm so happy I did this, and I'm so happy honestly that the scarf is done, because that was my biggest pressure all along. I wanted to have it done in time for my mom's birthday, and now that it is, I can actually go enjoy it and kind of have fun on that time. So I'll go do that. I'll see you guys hopefully very soon for my next video next week, and until then, if you had a fun time in this one, like, comment, share, subscribe. YouTube things, you know how to do them. And like I said, I'll see you next week in next week's video, and until then, take care, have a great rest of your day, and see you soon. Goodbye.